Welcome to this Microsoft Project training course. My name is Guy Vaccaro and I will be your trainer throughout the length of this course. And when it comes to project planning, there are a number of steps. First step is the scoping step. That's the step that involves yourself, any interested parties, clients, customers, possibly the bank. After step 1, we proceed to step 2, which is the scheduling step, where we take the scoping ideas and firm them up, give them a bit of concrete to build your schedule. Once the schedule is built, we can then move on to the execution of the project, which leads us to monitoring the project, which inevitably leads to rescheduling of the project. Notice that those last 3 steps are all the same color because they end up becoming a circle of information, where we go from step 3, the execution, through to step 4, monitoring, step 5, rescheduling. We're back at the question box. Have we finished? No. Continue executing, monitoring and rescheduling. Notice how the little dotted line appeared there called the baseline. That's our measurement point that we are effectively monitoring ourselves against. Scoping step, the first step, is where you speak to all interested parties within the project. As mentioned, clients, customers, agents, the bank, anybody who might have some input into the project. Certainly you need to be talking to the experts involved in whatever the topic of the project is. This stage, the scoping stage, stage 1, does not involve Microsoft Project. Stage 2, the scheduling stage, does involve Microsoft Project. At this stage, we're looking at achieving our concrete ideas. So how are we going to set out the goals of the project and how are we actually going to achieve those goals? How much will all the individual steps of the project cost? So how much does each task cost? How much does each phase cost? And therefore, how much does the whole project cost? How long will all the steps of the project take? So how long will each task take, each phase take? Therefore the whole project, and the resourcing of the project. Who will we need to be able to do the things? What will we need? How much of each thing, person, entity will be required in order to achieve our goals? Within Microsoft Project, you will find that there are a number of tables that are used. Tables for data entry, tables for manipulating the data. These tables mimic very closely the layout of Excel. So if you have Excel knowledge, you're already off to a flying start. The Gantt chart displays that data in a graphical format, and there's a little preview of a Gantt chart, lots of bars joined together with little lines. Microsoft Project is very task orientated, therefore every project is made up of a number of tasks. There are different types of tasks within Microsoft Project. There are automatic scheduled tasks. These are automatic as inferred, but you still need to create them. What's automatic about them is the scheduling that's automatic. There are also tasks that you can manually schedule. So you decide when they start, when they finish. There are summary tasks, there are subtasks of those summary tasks, and there are milestone tasks. And then there is a overall project summary task. These tasks will be discussed in much more detail throughout the course. In Microsoft Project, there is a calendar. This controls the availability of resources within the project. Now there are a number of defaults to this calendar, and the defaults are that everybody works 5 days a week, everybody works 8 hours a day, they work in the morning from 8 till 12 and they work in the afternoon from 1 till 5. There is no weekend working, no Saturdays and no Sundays. And within the calendar there are no holidays. So we need to set our own working pattern when you set up a project, and obviously we'll go through how you do that. You'll probably need to create some custom calendars as well for workers that have different patterns, so shift workers or part-time workers. By no holidays existing in the calendar, I mean no public holidays, not just individual vacations. And you'll find without placing the public holidays in your calendar, you can make a difference of 2 weeks in every year. Controlling the calendar, the resources are controlled within Microsoft Project, but they're broken down into different categories. We have work resources, which can effectively be defined as anything that is paid for on a time basis. So you can see there examples of personnel, facilities, or equipment that you might hire. The second category are material resources. These are items that you pay for on an item basis, whether that item measurement is a pallet, a ton, a bottle, a meter, a yard. And then there is a third category, effectively a new category to 2010, which is the cost resource, which allows you to create fixed prices, such as architect's drawings, that can be assigned to resources. You then need to allocate your resources to the tasks. So you would assign your work and material and cost resources to individual tasks throughout the project. Resolve any conflicts and over allocation, where you may have assigned the same person 2 jobs that are trying to take place at the same time, and then you can produce costings on the project, all from within Microsoft Project. Having thus built your project, we are then able to move on and look at monitoring the project using the same Microsoft project file. At this point, you would save your baseline. That effectively is a snapshot of where you said you would want to be. We can then add task progression to say how far through a task you are at any particular point in time. You can then track task progression against that original baseline that you've saved. We can produce a number of reports, and we can reschedule accordingly as we work along. So the project file actually becomes a working file. Once you reach the project conclusion, you can create a number of reports, obviously pay all the bills, sign off the project, and then start another. Obviously, in the real world, if you're a project manager, you'll realize that life doesn't work in such a linear way that you do one project, manage that, and then move on to another. There will be an overlap between projects, and obviously you'll have to manage those separate projects. Throughout this course, we're going to take you through Microsoft Project, how to set up files, how to create files, how to manage those files, but we're going to do that by building our own project. Our project is to take what currently is effectively my bathroom, quite awful, very old-fashioned, even has that plastic shower head that sticks on the taps, never works and falls off, and turn that into a much posher bathroom. We will use Microsoft Project to build a project plan that will take us from A to B.